Well, welcome back. I got kind of a weird theory kind of video, or maybe it's not even a weird theory, but it's more of my personal opinion on certain things that go around. And I mean, the older I get, the more I look at like how we're being taxed and taxes in general. I mean, been basically a straight Republican, voted straight Republican my entire life since I was 18. And the more I look at it, I'm starting to think that really this two-party system has kind of been garbage. I was able a chance to review and read Glenn Beck's Cowards book, which he discusses from beginning to end how, the last 100 years or so, the two-party system really hasn't helped America. It's more hindered it. I mean, the conservative side winds up with rhino Republicans who kind of share both Democrat and Republican values, and then it softens the Republican side up. I think the Democrat side right now is going through the same thing, where you have the extreme socialist Democrats and maybe the traditional, like Bill Clinton Democrat, where it was just more big government than general. But those big government guys are gone. You're seeing all the old Democrats being wiped out. And for what? Well, you're getting the AOC type of crowd. Well, is it dangerous? Sure. But the Republicans are no better. Like, we have a few people who maybe actually back up the actual true conservative nature. And then you got the libertarian side, which is more where I lean now. But nobody's going to vote for you. Nobody's going to vote for the libertarian. Why? Because we're stuck in this mindset that a two-party system, and it has to be Republican or Democrat. And really the only thing that parties do is they just basically, if you are this, we're polar opposite on that, and once we get in power, we're going to try to knock that out. Well, cool on certain issues, dumb on others, but you're starting to see it blend, where, especially on Second Amendment rights. Now, my thing was I voted for Trump in 2016, and I was really happy with him because he stood up there and told me how nobody's going to infringe on our rights, nobody's coming after our bump stocks, nobody's coming after anything. And then turn around, we were supposed to get the suppressor ban removed. You're supposed to be able to buy a suppressor soon. You're supposed to be able to get all this stuff happen. And instead, we got it on the flip side. We wound up having bump stocks banned, which is an infringement. And I get it, because the first thing people say who are pro-Trump will tell you that it's an accessory and not a gun. But if you think about it as an accessory, fine. The accessory, like barrels, triggers, the upper receiver, a buttstock, those are technically all accessories. If you want to allow this type of legislation to go through, where we can ban the accessory, well then you can wind up with a chunk of metal that just says lower receiver on it, and you can be happy with it because that's all you get. I mean, shall not infringe should really be just that. You don't infringe on my rights, I don't infringe on yours. If you don't like something, leave it alone. I think the bump stock ban showed a really poor choice in what they did. Now really all it's going to take is a Democrat president or the next one to come in and go, I ban all semi-autos. Because the semi-auto now, the way they worded it, and the way they got the bump stock ban pushed through, was that they worded semi-automatics and machine guns and blended it together. Now the whole one bowl for a machine gun is no longer that. It can be considered semi-auto. You now run this really bad risk. So now what are we going to do? Well, the Second Amendment issues, if you go back through the Republican history, none of it's good. Obama tried to get stuff banned, and he really tried and actually verbally said it outright in campaigns and stuff, and he drove the prices of guns up, and yeah, people panic bought and everybody freaked out, and Sandy Hook, people panic bought. But the Republicans really actually go through and do the legislation, and they hammer it in. And I laugh at it because here's what happens. We, if Obama were to say it, would get upset. The Republicans and the conservatives would be upset if Obama banned bump stocks. You'd be You'd be throwing on the internet forums, all upset, angry, posting all caps and whatnot. Or you'd be really upset and getting angry and writing your letter and joining the NRA. And even, the NRA would even probably be upset about it. But it's funny because the NRA backed the bump stock ban. So you'd be all mad. But because a Republican did it, we feel, because of the two-party system, that you have to loyally back the Republican Party. And you have to back the Trump system. I mean, it's the same thing we did with, we got mad at the Obama supporters in the last elections. Untouchable Obama, can't do this, can't find fault, can't be wrong. But we're doing the same thing now. And we've done it for 100 years, but it's just prevalent now. You can go back and actually see it. You talk to a Trump supporter who claims to be pro-Second Amendment, and you tell him, well, he's pro-Second Amendment, he's pro-gun. And you're like, no, he supports red flag laws, he, did the bump stock ban, he is now considering that he doesn't like suppressors, so we're supposed to basically get rid of suppressors now because you don't want it. Oh, well, bump stocks are an accessory, you don't really need them. I've had people tell me suppressors are for pussies because you don't need a suppressor. I'd rather buy enemy, hear my shots. It's crazy how much you're willing to give up. And all for what? Just to basically align yourself with the Republican side? I mean, where does it go? I mean, Republicans used to stand for a conservative nature. They wanted to conserve the Constitution. But neither side is going to give up power. We gave them everything. So, I mean, what happens now at this point? I think what's going to happen is Trump's the last Republican president that'll get elected. Whether he wins in 2020 or he loses, it doesn't really matter. And once you're going to get the next one in, which by 2024, you're going to have people like AOC, who's had the last, by 2024, will have about 6 years to gain popularity or get new people in. And you're going to have an extreme left in control. And then you look at Venezuela, all it took was 8 years with an extreme socialist left to turn the entire country around and collapse it. And that's what's going to happen. I don't think we're on a train track. I mean, we're on a train with one way of going, where that track is going straight towards socialism. And you look at Europe, and that's what happened. You look at Venezuela, and that's what happened. And it's just, basically, it's a runaway train. And why? Because people are refusing to actually pay attention to it. I don't think there are very many Patriots left, and I don't think we create a big enough number. So, I mean, I hope that we find a way that, a revival in this country, and that people find God and are able to have a revival, and that's probably the one way that we could get back to our roots, but I just don't see it happening. So, leave a comment if you agree or disagree, and let me know what you think about it. Just keep going, and I'll keep making more videos as it goes. I got some time going to work, so I can actually post these a little bit easier. Just give me a shout out or, subscribe to. So, thank you.